previous video I showed you how I was removing the old through hull and seacock hardware, and this is the bounty from that endeavor. As you can see, it was a lot of old hardware that we removed, and a lot of it had just corrosion and really weak spots in it. Alright, I've cleaned with this on-off stuff to get rid of the waterline muck. Look what it was before. You can see all the other boot stripes, and this side was exactly the same, and the rust stains are gone. Oh, this stuff works so good. Lots to do. Let's see in comparison. See that? Nice. This is a little bit of footage of the fiberglass guy at the yard doing his repairs. Personally, I didn't want to do it this way where he used plugs and then glassed over the plugs. From everything that I've read, this is an inferior solution. Even though it technically is adequate, there is a stronger way of doing it, which is where you grind it to a bevel and then put more layers of glass down. I didn't really raise too much of a fuss with the way he was doing it because A, he's supposed to be the professional here, and B, I knew that I could just add layers behind it if I felt like it wasn't strong enough. Here I'm cutting a new hole for the galley sink. You can see the previous hole below it, but it was always gurgling because it was right at the water line. This new one will be 4 inches above the water line and should be a lot quieter. Aside from those scratches, there you go, the inside of the boat. Here I am making the fiberglass stock that will ultimately be the backing plates for the through hulls and seacocks. We are putting in the through hulls, the new through hulls. There are 5 new ones, and we're putting them in now so we can get back in the water soonish, and we're going to show you a little bit what we have. So I've showed you already the process of how I've been making these backing discs, these backing plates. Originally, Lagoon did not put backing plates on all of their seacocks and through hulls, but the hull is quite thin. So you can see the thickness of the hull here. On the sides here, the hull, call it a 1/4 inch. The instructions for the seacock said that it needs to be greater than 20 millimeters. So I built fiberglass stock out of our epoxy and 1708 fiberglass. And now we're gonna install the backing plates and the through hulls. We'll install the seacocks later after the sealant dries. We're using 5200 sealant, and hopefully this works. We don't see. Jessica doing her job. We're applying an excessive amount of sealant on here because this is not the time to be skimpy. I've already cleaned the surrounding edges with acetone and sanded them and cleaned them again. So now I'm gonna just rotate this and press it firmly to kind of distribute all that sealant. So there's no possible way that there's any path through the sealant. Honestly, the water shouldn't even ingress this far, but if it does, we don't want to have leaks. So on the outside here, these are old ones that got glassed over and they're gonna be painted over, but this is the new one, and we put tape around so the sealant doesn't get all over the bottom paint. We're gonna put an excessive amount of sealant around the bottom here. Since I've never done this before, I don't want to have too little. I'd rather have too much. Clean them all up later a little bit better. Another chore that we did while the boat was out of the water was to put new boot stripes on it. We did it by putting a bunch of little pieces of painter's tape at the bottom edge of where we wanted
the boot stripe to be. We measured from the bottom coat up, and we put it a little bit high because the next season we're going to haul out. We're actually going to move the bottom coat line up a couple inches, so it'll be a little bit closer to the boot stripe ultimately than it is in this video. Our technique was to pay out a little bit at a time. We didn't do long strands like you see some people do, but because we had guide tape at small intervals, we were able to make sure that our tape had minimal deviations up and down. And as you can see here, it was actually a really smooth line the whole way down. We were pretty pleased with how it turned out.
It's coming! We've left the boatyard. We motored a full day south. We're in Daytona, well, south of Daytona Beach, and tomorrow we're planning to go out and do a 2-day passage, get down to South Florida. This will be our first time doing anything overnight, pretty much ever. It's gonna be exciting, and the winds seem pretty favorable, a little bit windy in the morning, but the afternoon seems fine, the waves seem chill. We'll double check the forecast tonight, but we're here on a pretty beach. We have Arya on the leash because if we let her off, she will run into the water, and we don't want to have a wet dog right before bed. And tomorrow, looking forward to getting some ocean sailing in after this front passes through. It should shift the wind to be in our favor.
What are you doing?
We are doing our first overnight. Was a sail, but there's no wind right now, so we're motoring, and it'll be an overnight motor. Just trying to get south quick while we have a bit of a weather window. Our wind fell off, but the waves are still following, so I might as well keep going. And it'll be exciting because this is our first overnight ever. I'm making a big deal for me because I'm going to be doing most of the nighttime stuff. It's a full moon, but there's like lots of clouds, so I don't know if we're actually going to be able to see anything outside tonight. We're staying about 3 miles off the Florida coast, so if there's an emergency or anything, we have a couple places where we can duck in and just kind of drop hook if we have to. But I think we'll make it. Got the parrot? Going at nighttime for the first time ever, and annoyingly the waves kind of turned, so we're beating into the waves a little bit. The boats were rocking back and forth, but they're really little at that, so other than being annoying, they're not scary. What do you think?
Yeah, it's pretty calm. I was worried, but now I'm fine.
As of right now, the plan is to go to West Palm Beach and not Fort Lauderdale, just because we like the West Palm Beach anchorage better. They both have pros and cons. If we had to get stuck in one of the two places and wait for the weather window, we'd rather be stuck in West Palm Beach. Unfortunately, that means we're going to be getting in at like 5 a.m. At least we'll be with the tide, so it'll suck us in nice and easy, but
we'll see if we get sleep.
Okay, so we're testing our sail drive oil for water because it's milky. I mean, it's milky enough to make me think it's definitely got water in it, but online I read that if you heat it, it'll bubble if it's got water in it, and you can see it's bubbling here. We just did a test with the new stuff that had never been put in a sail drive, and it didn't bubble. So to me, this is pretty. We'll test against the other sail drive that doesn't look milky. But to me, this is pretty definitive that this sail drive has salt water coming into it, and that means we're gonna have to fix it which means we have to either haul out or beach the cat. At this point, I'm inclined to do a haul out and just get it done properly. Look at that bubbles. The pure oil that hadn't been put in a sail drive yet would not bubble. Alright, this is the sail drive oil from the starboard side. It's clear, it's not milky, and it's really hot right now. And even though it's not as clear as fresh out of the bottle, it's not bubbling. We definitely have a problem in our port sail drive. Gotta get that fixed before we go to the Bahamas. We're stuck here in West Palm Beach while we're waiting for a haul out to fix our sail drive issue. So I woke up this morning and we're working on making this wall pretty. It still will be behind trimming and cabinets and stuff like that, but there's no reason that this part can't be visible and be much prettier. So we've cleaned it, sanded it, faired it, and now we're gonna paint it and make it prettier, because this is like the first impression that people get, and ugly fiberglass is not a great first impression. Trying to make the most of our time while we're waiting for the haul out, our second haul out. This is an exterior grade primer coat, and it's meant to work outside in like the worst weather conditions, so it should be completely fine inside, and it's also like low chemical odor and all that stuff, so it doesn't really smell bad. In the future we'll tear out this old vent, but for now we're just kind of ignoring that it's there. Alright, we're going to get a healthy smoothie instead of something bad like Starbucks, and enjoying a little bit of morning walk while our paint dries. And this is West Palm Beach. We really like West Palm Beach. Very strange. I know. Hauling out again. Alright, we're on the hard again. Hopefully just for one day. We got the problem fixed. We just need to, it was a sail drive problem. We had salt water in our oil, probably something I did last time we were hauled out, but that's an expensive lesson learned, and the mechanic thinks he's identified, we got a mechanic this time, he thinks he identified a problem, and so hopefully tomorrow we go back in the water, so that next week tomorrow's Friday, next week we go to the Bahamas, yay! But right, we got hauled out at Rybovich, which is one of the more expensive elite haul places because they had room to take us and nobody else did. Apparently their south location's like super nice, so we're gonna might as well take full use of what we're paying for and go check out the south location and see if it really is super nice like everybody says it is. Because this is like for mega yachts and super wealthy people. We're kind of like, what's it called? Imposters. We're like imposters. And Arya is hunting for lizards. She's discovered that there's lizards in all the bushes. Back off. There, we got pretty clouds. This is really nice. It's a big sailboat. The freeboard is taller than me. When they put us on the hard here, our only complaint is that they leaned us, so everything rolls, and it's like you're walking, like the forward end of the boat is all uphill. We actually had to sleep in the bed backwards last night so that our heads were uphill. We are waiting to be put back in the water. We're getting splashed today at 2. We're gonna go get a rental car for the weekend, do provisioning, and we gotta take the dog to the vet on Monday so she can get her vet checked. And right now we're just kind of confirming what food we do and do not have before we go provisioning.
The super yacht Marina is really nice. I was very surprised. They topped it all up. Yeah, it had a nice gym and pool. And
so we were sitting there, like we were laughing because we had no idea that's how yesterday was going to end up. Yesterday morning, we didn't even know if we'd get hauled and if the mechanic would even get there and how bad the problem would be. But by yesterday afternoon, we were eating dinner at a super yacht marina with the problem fixed and just hanging out. Yesterday was a strange day. It was also expensive. All things considered though, just because we're on the harbor for a single day, it's not going to be as expensive as it could have been. Spend the weekend here, and then it looks like Tuesday is our weather window to start our adventure to a new country. Even though we've been on the boat 4 months now, and it has been an adventure the whole time, this is going to be like the start of the adventure part of the adventure. What are you making?
I'm trying to make chia seed pudding, so
Chia seed pudding sounds lovely.
we'll see. It has to thicken up.
Boat projects. This is the base for the toilet that I'm going to sand down, and I just gel coated it yesterday. And I'm adding storage. When we turned the bed, we cut off storage to this area under here because the bed was sitting on the old plank. So I cut it open, and I'm going to reinforce it, sand it down, make it nice, and then we'll be able to store cans or food or something down in this area. Aria, getting your vet check so we can go to the Bahamas. Alright, so we're trying life jackets out, and an important feature of life jackets is the crotch strap. But this particular crotch strap is also like a thong strap, because when you're trying to reach anything tall up. I don't know that this is gonna work. Here is hopefully enough food to last 4 to 6 weeks for 2 people and 1 dog. Some junk food in there.
We paid about $600.
About $600 worth of food, including the meats, which is in the freezer already. So honestly, we've never provisioned for this long, so we have no idea if it's overkill or just right or what. But most of the food's non-perishable, so if we don't use it this trip, we'll just have it for our next trip or for later, if we're living on the boat. If we're gonna eat it.
Alright, and that's about it before we cross over. Right here we're moving the boat to the Lake Worth anchorage. It's just right inside from the inlet, and it's just super easy in and out. So we're just ready and set to go. We filled up with gas and fuel from the marina here and enjoyed a beautiful sunset as we waited for the tide to go out to begin our crossing to the Bahamas. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.